Every car down in Radiator Springs liked Christmas a lot, but Chick Hicks, who lived just north of Radiator Springs, did not. Chick Hicks hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be perhaps that his tires weren't screwed on just right. It could be his fenders were rusted too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his gas tank was 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, his tires are gasoline, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating Lightning McQueen. Staring down from his cave with a sour Chick Hicks frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every car in Radiator Springs beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Chick Hicks engine humming, I must find a way to keep Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the car girls and car boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, noise. That's the one thing he hated, the noise. And then the cars, young and old, would sit down for a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would start under the hooding with rare engine roast grease, which was something Chick Hicks couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every car in Radiator Springs, the big and the small, would park close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd park door to door, all those cars would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing. And the more Chick Hicks thought of the car Christmas sing, the more Chick Hicks thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming, but how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. Chick Hicks got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, Chick Hicks laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and coat. And he chuckled and chuckled, what a great Chick Hicks trick. With this coat and hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. Then Chick Hicks said Kachiga and started his drive down toward the homes where the cars lay a snooze in their town. All the cars were all dreaming dreams so sweet when he came to the first little house on the street. This is stop number 1, old Chick Hicks thunk. And then he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his trunk. Then he squeezed down the chimney without even a stick. If Santa could do it, then so could Chick Hicks. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his headlights out and the fireplace flew. Where the little car stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room, he took every present. Mufflers and seat covers, headlights and hubcaps, spark plugs, seat belts and batteries and mud flaps. And he stuffed them in bags. Then Chick Hicks very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the car's feast. He took the car coolant. He took the rare roast grease. He cleaned out the garage as quick as a breeze. Why, that Chick Hicks even took the last can of Rusty's. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned Chick Hicks, I will stuff up the tree. And Chick Hicks grabbed the tree and he started to shove, and he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and saw a small car. It was Maddie McGear, who was not more than 4. Chick Hicks had been caught by this tiny car daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at Chick Hicks and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree, why? But you know that Chick Hicks was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, that fake Santa Claus lied, there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Maddie McGear went to the bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. He went up the chimney himself, that old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other cars' houses, leaving crumbs too small for the other cars' mouses. It was 15:15 dawn, all the cars still abed, all the cars still a snooze when he packed up his flatbed. He packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode to the very tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the cars, he was chick-ishiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two, then the cars down in Radiator Springs will cry boo-hoo. "That's a noise," grinned Chick Hicks, "that I simply must hear." So he paused and Chick Hicks put a tire to his ear. And he did hear a sound from down below. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Radiator Springs. Chick Hicks popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every car down in Radiator Springs, the big and small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And Chick Hicks, with his Grinch tires cold in the sand, sat idling and idling. This is not what I planned. It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. Then he idled 3 hours till his idler was sore. Then Chick Hicks thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Radiator Springs, they say that Chick Hicks' small gas tank grew 3 sizes that day. And then the true meaning of Christmas came through, and Chick Hicks found the strength of 10 Chick Hicks plus 2. And the minute his engine didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. With a smile to his soul, he descended Mount Crumpet, cheerfully blowing ka-chow in his trumpet. He drove into Radiator Springs. He brought back their toys. He brought back their headlights to the car girls and car boys. He brought back their mufflers and seat covers and hubcaps. He brought back their spark plugs and seat belts and mud flaps. He brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, Chick Hicks, served the roast grease.